live.
A tragic accident leaves 3 people dead.
Local.
Will the third time be a charm for the Yakima School District?
And up to the minute.
We've got plenty of clouds in our region, bringing with it very windy conditions and possible rain showers. Your complete forecast coming up.
Now, this is Live at 11.
Good evening, I'm Judy Slate. Topping 11 at 11. It took only seconds. A driver blasted through a red light. Tonight, 3 people are dead. The accident happened at Highway 395 and 19th in Kennewick, an intersection police say is becoming more and more dangerous. Scott Stovall has more.
Happened just after 11 a.m. Witnesses say this brown Yukon was headed north on 395 when it ran a red light and slammed into this pickup, which was crossing the intersection on 19th. Killed in the accident were 49-year-old Ralph Corson, 62-year-old Larry Troxel, and his wife, 53-year-old LaWanda Troxel, all of Kennewick. Corson was a driver of the Yukon, and the Troxels were in the pickup. Police suspect Corson may have been drinking at the time. The 2 vehicles slammed into each other with such force, the vehicles and debris were spread out over hundreds of feet. The speed limit for this portion of Highway 395 is 55 miles an hour. Investigators are now trying to figure out if the driver of the Yukon was speeding.
Anytime that you have an intersection that crosses a highway like this, you're looking for trouble. You always fear the worst when you have a highway that people, you're driving 55 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour through the highway. Unfortunately, when a collision ends up like this, you usually have some bad injuries.
This is an intersection where accidents are happening with more regularity.
And I really thought that the light would change it, but it looks to me like people aren't sure the light's still here.
The Yukon also hit another car, but the occupants of that car escaped injury. Autopsies are now scheduled for Corson to determine his blood alcohol level and for LaWanda Troxel to determine her cause of death. In Kennewick, Scott Stovall, News 25 NBC.
Now, no one knows tonight for sure what caused Corson to go through that red light. We spoke with a friend of the family tonight. He said Corson was not a drinker, but did have a history of medical problems. Also happening tonight, 2 men are shot to death in Hermiston. Simon Gonzalez and Leandro Almonte were seasonal workers for Hermiston Foods. Police say it all happened here in the home that Simon shared with his family. Investigators say someone they knew walked up to the home and shot the 2 men to death. Simon's wife, Martina, was at work when it happened, but speaking through an interpreter, she says she has no idea who would want to see her husband dead.
He's a nice person. There was no reason for this to happen to him.
Simon leaves behind his wife and their 4-year-old son. Tonight they're staying with family members. After 2 failed attempts last year, Yakima School District officials hope a proposed multi-million-dollar levy will pass tomorrow. The failed levies have had a major impact on after-school programs and sports. Players on teams like this one have to pay to play. The failure is affecting class size and school staffing. Kindergarten kids are also feeling the pinch. Their schedule changed from half days every day to full days every other day. Without levy money, the district could no longer afford midday busing. Superintendent Larry Petrie says he's confident the district has done all it can to get the word out. Now he just hopes voters will carry the message to the polls.
At this point, I just would encourage people to get out and exercise their right to vote. This is an incredibly important issue for children and their educational future, and I think the future of this community.
Now, if passed, the $15.6 million levy would be spread over a 2-year period of time. And the Yakima School District won't be alone tomorrow. The Cle Elum School District members will be asked to vote on an $800,000 school levy. And in Toppenish, voters will be asked to support a $10 million construction bond to build a new elementary school and make repairs on existing schools. And in Walla Walla County, the College Place School District is asking their voters to pass a $3.3 million school levy. And in Franklin County, the North Franklin School District hopes to pass a $4.2 million school levy. Voters in Toppenish also tomorrow will decide on a $715,000 fire bond. If it passes, the money would pay for a new ladder truck. If it fails, the city fire safety rating will drop, which means an increase in the insurance costs for local residents. Now, you may remember the bond failed in the general election last November by just one, that's right, just one vote. Governor Gary Locke has proclaimed a state of emergency for 11 Washington counties after severe winter storms take their toll. The counties affected are Cowlitz, King, Kittitas, Klickitat, Lincoln, Mason, Pacific, Wahkiakum, Whatcom, and Whitman counties. Now, over the last 2 months, winter storms have caused road shoulder washout, soil erosion, and damage to bridge embankments. Damages so far are estimated at $1.7 million. The new millennium will bring more money to Hanford thanks to the new DOE budget. After years of cutbacks, Secretary of Energy Bill Richardson today said he would increase Hanford's budget next year by $70 million. Hanford managers are praising the increase, but say they could still use more money.
For more money, but and we could effectively use more money because we're ready to do a lot of work. But I'm very pleased with the result.
The proposed Hanford budget for next year comes to $1,656 million. In national news on 11 at 11, House prosecutors and White House lawyers will question presidential friend Vernon Jordan tomorrow. He'll be the second witness to be deposed in the president's Senate impeachment trial. Monica Lewinsky, the woman at the center of the president's case, gave her deposition today. Beverly Kirk has the latest from Washington.
House prosecutors spent around 5 hours questioning Monica Lewinsky before calling it a day and leaving Washington's posh Mayflower Hotel. Her attorneys had little to say.
How'd it go? No comments. Nope.
Sources tell NBC News Lewinsky didn't say anything she hasn't previously said under oath. The White House attorneys didn't question her at all. Sources also tell NBC News that President Clinton's attorney Nicole Seligman delivered a personal apology from the president to Lewinsky. But officially, no one's talking about what went on during the deposition. The two senators presiding over the proceedings say Senate rules prevent comment.
We will provide the transcripts and the videotapes of the Senate where it can be seen by senators, but we will not discuss it, nor should any of the others who were there.
Senators can begin watching Lewinsky's deposition Tuesday morning. Meantime, House Manager Ed Bryant, who questioned Lewinsky, says there is still a need for live witnesses on the Senate floor.
I don't know. I think probably Thursday of this week we'll be making arguments to either use the deposition and or call her as a witness in person to the Senate, along with Mr. Jordan and Mr. Blumenthal.
Presidential friend Vernon Jordan will be questioned on Tuesday. He'll be followed on Wednesday by White House aide Sidney Blumenthal. Trial action on the Senate floor is expected to resume on Thursday. Beverly Kirk, NBC News, Washington.
In other news around the nation, an explosion and fire rocked a Ford factory in Michigan, killing at least one worker and critically injuring 20 others. The president of United Auto Workers Local says he hasn't seen anything like it since he fought in the Vietnam War. The explosion and fire happened this afternoon at the coal-fired plant at Ford's huge River Rouge complex. The blaze was brought under control earlier tonight. The Dearborn plant makes Ford Mustangs and was once the largest auto manufacturing facility in the world. A Southern California woman is recovering tonight after a courageous cliffside rescue. The 34-year-old had been hiking off a beaten path when she tumbled down a hillside. She was hanging onto weeds and grass to keep herself from falling over a 75-foot drop. LA County firefighters rappelled down the rocky abyss and brought the woman back up in a harness. She was taken to a hospital and treated for chest pains and an injured ankle. Bodies are still being buried in Colombia after last week's disastrous magnitude 6 earthquake. The bodies of 45 people were laid to rest in the central coffee-growing region today in a collective grave. The victims had been held inside a makeshift morgue in the city's soccer stadium until families had a chance to identify their loved ones for today's burial. Last week, a magnitude 6 quake shook the region, killing almost 1,000 people and leaving a disaster zone of 20 towns and villages across 5 Colombian provinces in its wake. Bad news if you're a frequent flyer tonight. All the major airlines have raised their fares in the last few days. Roughly a dozen times in the past year, they've tried to raise fares, but each time one airline held out, most often Northwest. And with every carrier on board, without every carrier rather, an increase after increase fell apart. But this time it was different. Northwest was among the first to raise their fares. When we think of Washington, we think of apples, right? But what about potatoes? A new ad campaign launched today hopes to make us more aware that spuds grow here.
Imagine me and you and me. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me. So happy together.
This commercial features the larger-than-life Watato, Washington potato. The commercial came as a response to a survey in 1996 where many Washington residents said they didn't even know our state even had a potato industry. Well, it turns out Washington is the second largest producer of potatoes in the nation. Well, we're going to go now to Tom Zimbelman, who's in tonight for Richard Nunn with a look at the forecast. Tom?
Well, Judy, we're sitting right under the jet stream tonight, and because of that, we're going to see some very windy conditions with gusts, especially in the Yakima Valley, gusting up to 32 miles per hour. Tri-Cities will see sustained winds of 16 miles an hour, gusting up to around 30 miles per hour as well. For tomorrow morning around 7 o'clock, we'll see about 39 degrees in the Tri-Cities, more like 33 degrees for the Yakima Valley, so right above the freezing level. Of course, we'll see those temperatures begin to warm up as we move into the later part, early part of the afternoon. And of course, the rain chance will continue with us through most of tomorrow and into tomorrow evening as well. We'll talk about that more in the forecast. But before we get to that, let's go to sports. And in the leadoff spot tonight, it's Kevin Bolinger.
Thank you, Tom. Good evening, everyone. In the leadoff spot tonight, the time-honored tradition of a city honoring their champion with a parade. And Denver whooped it up for their Super Bowl champion Broncos this afternoon. The streets of the Mile High City were jam-packed today. The Broncos and their fans celebrating the team's second straight championship. The party, though, filled with two questions. Can there be a three-peat, and will John Elway be around to try? Coming up, we'll hear from Mr. Elway on that issue. Plus, the Americans play Let's Make a Deal. The Sun Kings welcome home a player. And the state's most prolific high school quarterback makes a college decision. All of that and much more when Kevin Uretsky joins me to go back-to-back in about 15 minutes. Judy?
All right, thanks, Kevin. Still ahead tonight as Live at 11 continues, a look at how report cards have changed over the years. Plus, flu season is still here and there's no relief in sight. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's not just about making plans. It's about making a difference. It's about neighbors and taking an interest rather than merely earning it. At Edward Jones, it's never just about investing. It's about Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
Palm Harbor Homes. Welcome to Palm Harbor Village. We want a home of our own, but we don't have a big allowance.
Then come to Palm Harbor Village and own a spacious, energy-efficient Palm Harbor home for just $1,000 down. Zero down if you own your own land.
Wow, what's the space?
Your own beautiful Palm Harbor home for just $1,000 down, as low as $348 a month.
And there's room for the whole family.
Palm Harbor Homes, more home for your money.
You've got a big family and lots of friends who all have birthdays. The good news is it's Monday, and Dairy Queen has lots of frozen birthday cakes. So call and order one today, or stop by and pick one up. We'll even make one custom for you. Dairy Queen frozen birthday cakes. No matter what the occasion.
A portion of the news is brought to you by Edward Jones Investments.
Pasco voted the TV Guide Award for America's favorite late night show. Jay's got Howie Mandel.
I just took the garbage out.
Plus Payback's Maria Bello. Jay's cat has the Super Bowl blowout in headlines.
The jogging tramp. Yes.
Then on Conan, David Spade, Fred Savage, and other high-flying comedy tonight.
Covering your health tonight, the winter flu season is officially here, and it's apparently getting worse. The number of states with flu outbreaks more than doubled in the week of January 17th. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say Arizona, Georgia, Massachusetts, Nebraska, Nevada, North Carolina, Virginia, our state, Washington, and New York City are the areas hit hardest by the flu bug. Cases of type A and type B flu have been reported throughout the country this flu season, but the CDC says it has seen an upsurge of type A flu during the second half of January. Type A is treatable with antiviral drugs. Hand transplant recipient Matthew Scott is doing well and is excited about the progress he's making following his historical surgery last week. 37-year-old Scott underwent the 14.5-hour operation a week ago. Today he visited with a hand surgeon in a photo session at Jewish Hospital in Louisville, Kentucky. Scott is having trouble touching his index finger to his thumb on his transplanted hand, but remains upbeat about his recovery. Scott is only the second person in the world with a transplanted hand. He could be released from the hospital later this week, but is expected to remain in Louisville for months of therapy. Well, it's the time of year many students dread, report card time. Nowadays, report cards give much more than just letter grades. In Pasco, teachers and school administrators want parents to put less emphasis on those letter grades and focus more on how the students are doing getting that grade. Report cards allow for teachers to give comments on what students are doing well, what they can improve on, and their personal growth in and out of the classroom.
Following the rules.
I think parents still view a report card from their own experience, and they want to see an ABCD kind of format, but it has changed over the years, and we give more of an indication. Are they strong? Are they satisfactory? Do they need improvement?
For students in Pasco, report cards will be handed out later this week. A cloudy, windy start to our work week. Will it get any better? Tom Zimbelman tells us next in weather. Stay with us.
What if you could treat wrinkles like an expert would? Introducing ROC, Retinol Active Pure from France. Developed with dermatologists, this pure and active form of vitamin A works deeper, inside skin surface, stimulating renewal, smoothing skin. Something more superficial beauty treatments could never promise. New ROC, Retinol Active Pure, visibly reduces the appearance of wrinkles in 12 weeks. ROC, we keep our promises.
If you won the lottery, would you buy an expensive art collection? Or would you become the artist? Would you capture the late summer light, the wave on the water? If you won the lottery, what wonders would you create? What's your dream?
Hey, let's talk New York. Let's talk pizza. Let's talk big. Like the new Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. It's so big it's got 3 zip codes. You need a road map to find your way across it. It's so big on the other side, it's almost Cleveland. It's a genuine street corner 16-inch New York style pizza with 8 big floppy foldable slices dripping with cheese and tomato sauce that's really, really good. At a price that's very un-New York, $9.99. $9.99. You can't even get a taxi for that price. The Big New Yorker pizza from Pizza Hut. The best pizzas under one roof.
Unsure of the path to take into Y2K? Inland Awning Stove and Fireplace Center on West Meade will take you there. Hearthstone wood and gas-fired stoves are an investment in quality, beauty, and efficiency for lasting value. Constructed of cast iron for convection heat and soapstone for radiant heat, Hearthstone uses no electricity. Wood models have high heat output and stay clean glass. Hearthstone gas heaters offer chimney through the roof or wall, so placement can be almost anywhere, and a wall thermostat for even room heating. Look to the first name in hearth heating for Hearthstone, Inland Awning Stove and Fireplace Center on West Meade.
Well, I'd say the weather story was wind.
Absolutely. And also some rain. Earth, wind, and fire. No fire. Just wind and rain. That's where I'm going. Wind and rain for the next couple of days, and then we'll see the rain and the winds begin to die down after tomorrow night. But until then, again, very windy conditions and some moderate temperatures as well. We'll see highs getting close to even 60 in some parts. Right now, though, not too bad. Yakima, 41 degrees, 62% the humidity, and the barometer is falling at 30.12 with very windy conditions again out of the south at 25 sustained winds, in Yakima gusting up to 32 miles per hour. 44 degrees in the Tri-Cities, humidity at 63% with a barometer holding steady at 30.25 with the winds out of the south at 16. Again, we're seeing some gusty conditions, even getting up to about 30 miles per hour for the Tri-Cities as well. As far as the rest of Washington and northern Oregon, we're seeing a slew of 40s across Washington state. Seattle with 40, Olympia with 40 as well, and 47 degrees down in Portland, Oregon. So the temperatures remain fairly moderate for this time of year. We're seeing 35 in Spokane, 44 for Walla Walla and Pendleton. So again, very moderate conditions as far as the temperature goes. Now the wind, of course, bringing in this new system. This is the first of many systems that have extended way out into the Pacific Ocean. This is kind of a short system, but with it we'll see some rain showers. Again, with the warmer temperatures, most of the precipitation throughout the Yakima Valley, Kittitas Valley, and the lower Columbia Basin in the form of rain showers. Even along the Cascades, the snow level will be going up to about 4,000 feet tonight, and then tomorrow going up to about 5,000 feet. So even warmer temperatures along the Cascades here, making it a little bit easier if you're driving over the passes, but of course still dangerous as well, with some of the snow showers still remaining along there. Now we're seeing again some snow in the southern Cascades. That is right now at about 2,500 feet. Again, it'll rise to about 4,000 in the wee hours of the morning, and then getting up to about 5,000 feet for tomorrow. So much of the precipitation will turn to all rain showers, except of course if it's above 5,000 feet. So that's how it looks like for the Cascades. For tomorrow, we'll see, again, mostly rain showers. Now, the snow level will be kind of stopping right around the mid-Columbia Basin, lower Columbia Basin. This is showing some snow showers, but again, it'll be mostly rained for tomorrow. Up near Spokane, they'll be seeing mostly snow showers with the cooler temperatures, even along the Blues as well, a chance of snow, and moving into the panhandle of Idaho. For tonight, we'll see some fairly decent temperatures. The only place at the freezing level is Yakima, 32 degrees, and then 38 for the Tri-Cities and Walla Walla with 37 degrees in Pendleton. So very moderate conditions. Now the rain will remain with us for tonight and going into tomorrow as well. The temperatures will get up to close to even 60 degrees for both the Tri-Cities and Walla Walla at 58. Pullman down to 50 and 57 degrees for Pendleton, Oregon. In the next 5 days, looks pretty moderate as well. Wednesday, 49, with the clouds staying with us after Tuesday when the rains begin to stop, but the clouds will remain with us after system moves into the region. So it looks like the next 7 days from here on out are going to be cloudy, but not a lot of rain or snow except from now up until tomorrow. So mainly cloudy, and the winds will begin to die down tomorrow night as well.
Good, because I mean, it's even in here you can hear the winds howling.
Yes, it's definitely windy outside. So
scary. All right, thanks, Tom.
You bet.
Up next in sports, the Americans make two major trades. The Sun Kings get their AC plugged back in, and the quarterback who holds all the state's high school records decides where he'll play in college. Find out when the Kevins go back-to-back in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Put the left side of your head next to the television screen. Right here. That's it. Now experience how it feels to drive a BMW. The sky, the hills, and the road are all yours. When suddenly you're hit from the side. The world's first head protection system. Standard in the 1999 3 Series sedan.
That weight on your shoulders looks pretty heavy, son.
It's taxes.
Go on.
Not just my taxes. I'm doing my sister's, my nephew's. Everyone's getting married, having kids. I don't even know if I'm doing them right.
Son, there have been over 800 tax law changes. Maybe they're expecting too much of you.
Yeah. Hey, I don't think I got your name. H&R Block. We know. Do you? Now that's a dog.
A sandwich just isn't a sandwich without the tangy zip of Miracle Whip.
In the Northwest, there's a story behind every Ford Oval.
Our winter trips used to look like military operations. Not this year. My new F-150 streamlined the whole thing. Its standard 4 doors makes it more than a truck. It's a personnel carrier, and the Triton V8 means 6 snowmobiles, 1 truck.
Save over $1,600 in interest with 4.9 financing on a 99 F-150 Super Cab 4x4.
Operation Snowmobile! Move it out!
For your story, see your Northwest Ford store.
Good evening, everyone. There is no question that the Western Division of the Western Hockey League will be a big-time free-for-all during the playoffs. There's also no question that the Americans are now ready for battle after head coach and general manager Don Hay acquired 2 Western Hockey League All-Stars today at the trading deadline. First deal from Spokane comes All-Star Brad Ferentz, who's also played with the Canadian National Junior Team in the World Junior Championships the last 2 years. There you see his stats for this year, 3 goals in 31 games. Going to Spokane is David Boychuk and a 4th-round draft pick next summer. Also, coming from Lethbridge, Alberta, is right-wing Curtis Huppy. He was a WHL All-Star who scored 2 goals, by the way, in the All-Star game on his home ice just a couple of weeks ago, as well as Andrew Gwindon, a 17-year-old. And going to Lethbridge, Nathan Barrett and Ryan Jordy. Hay says, hey, with the division up for grabs, he needed to make moves now.
I think in our division, there's so many teams that are even right now that if you can give yourself a little bit of edge and you know, it could really help by winning a playoff round. And I think it's important to our organization that you know, we try to you know, not only make the playoffs, which will look like we're going to do, but also do well in the playoffs.
The Yakima Sun Kings have vaulted into first place with a tremendous hot streak over the last 2 weeks, and it looks like they're getting some more weapons back. Center Robert Wordan released from the Chicago Bulls camp today. He may return. Guard Anthony Carter was released from the Cleveland Cavaliers camp. He has confirmed that he'll be back in Yakima in time for the team's next home game on Wednesday. To make room on the roster for Carter, the team released Tony Tolbert this afternoon. College hoops tonight, the top-ranked UConn Huskies without starters Richard Hamilton and Jake Voskuil, who were nursing injuries, and it hurt against number 16 Syracuse. Here the Orangemen's Alan Griffin goes to the hole for the hoop and the harm. UConn suffers their first loss of the season as they fall to Syracuse 59-42.
DeSales' record-setting quarterback Brian Lindgren, who is #1 in all the record books, has decided where he'll play his college football. Lindgren announced this afternoon he will become an Idaho Vandal next fall. He led the DeSales Irish to the B11 title the last 2 years, holds Washington State records for passing yards in a career, touchdown passes in a season, touchdown passes in a game, and the national record for career touchdown passes with 162.
It didn't take long for the city of Denver to roll out the red carpet for the 2-time Super Bowl champion Broncos. It was party time in the Mile High City today. Thousands of people lined the streets to honor the 2-time Super Bowl champion Broncos with a downtown parade. Now there's a look at John Elway, who earlier this morning was officially given his Super Bowl Most Valuable Player trophy, and John admits that there are a lot of factors which will go into his decision as to whether he's going to retire or maybe come back to try and get that three-peat.
I'll never want to not play football. It's just, you know, it's such a fine line. And I'm one of those guys, I don't want to walk away too late. But I also know that if I play like I played last night, then I can play a little bit longer. And
Robinson may not face jail time after he solicited an undercover Miami police officer for sex on Saturday night. The charges will be dropped if Robinson enrolls in a diversion program. Ironically, Robinson's arrest came just hours after he was presented the Bart Starr Award that goes to a player representing high moral conduct.
Posse's announced the team's first 2 signings for the '99 season. Outfielder Terry Johnson will be returning from last year's team. Will be at spring training. He didn't hit very much, but he is very fast. That's why he stole 21 bases. And third baseman Doyle Preston has been signed. He was an all-star in the Heartland League last year. And as we told you on Friday, expect it. Now it's official. Safeco Field has been officially named as the site for the 2001 All-Star Game. The last time the Mariners had hosted an All-Star Game way back in 1979.
Well, let's wrap it up by ringing the bell for the parting shot. The Broncos won their second straight Super Bowl. John Elway picked up his first Super Bowl MVP. Now it's time Elway should retire on top. He'll already be known as one of the greatest ever, and he's achieved just about everything he could. Sure, nobody's won 3 straight, but I would much rather see a great athlete go out a winner like Michael Jordan than try to hang on for one more and fail. Mr. Ed, it's time to head to pasture.
Hello. Best way to sum up Soup XXXIII by taking a look at what was said last week while the hype was in full swing. There may not be as many role models in sports as there once was, but Mr. Robinson is a class act, and we here in the Pacific Northwest were lucky to have him in the neighborhood for 11 seasons. One arrest for solicitation later, never mind. On the other hand, this turned out a lot better. Check this out. There's no way John Elway will allow himself to go out a loser to Dan Reeves, of all people. Denver 34, Atlanta 20. You know, it wound up 34-19, and if the Falcons had kicked that extra point instead of going for 2, I would have been right on. Judy?
Thanks, Kevin. Stay with us. We'll be right back. But first, a look at what's coming up tomorrow on the local news.
Thanks, Judy. Here's a few of the things we're working on for tomorrow. At 5 o'clock, remember those nerve-wracking trips to the doctor when you get a shot? Well, fear no more. In a special Millennial Mark report, find out about a pain-free future for shots. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll have all of your Election Day coverage from Clay Elum to Yakima and Toppenish. We've got all of your news, weather, and sports on First at 5 and live at 6. We'll see you then.
There comes a point in your life when you outgrow those cute little pickups, at which time you might want to consider something a little more adult, a truck that can run rings around compacts. Dodge Dakota, with more room and more available towing, torque, and power. Magnum Power. Dakota. It's time to put away the toys. See the friendly Northwest Dodge dealer near you.
Bill, I'd like to download your knowledge.
Coloring outside the lines.
It's not about
again.
you, Bill. It's about me.
We've begun to accelerate the learning curve.
It's a vision thing.
I'm penciling you in, idiot.
At United States Cellular, we see a cell phone as a way to stay safe and a way to stay close.
We're into extra innings. Did you get her to sleep?
Sound more like you?
Fine, she's got like a leg.
United States Cellular, the way people talk around here.
Now at United States Cellular, get 180 minutes for only $24.95 a month.
What our community tells us about our schools is important. Over the past year, we've made adjustments in response to your concerns. 1999 is a new year. The levy before Yakima School District voters is 25% less. 1999 is a new year. The levy before Yakima School District voters is 25% less than last year's proposal. We invite you to study the proposal and ask questions. We're here to answer those questions.
This portion of the news is brought to you by United States Cellular.
All right, well, the last word is yours.
Here's what we're going to see for tomorrow. It looks like winds through tomorrow, plus some rain showers as well throughout the Yakima Valley and the lower Columbia Basin, and clouds throughout the entire week.
All right, thanks. That's it for us. Have a great night. We'll see you right here again tomorrow.